So we've just finished up Desert Ruins, and now we are going into Tropical Coast. That's the one. There's a lot of levels that have the word tropical in them, and there's a lot of levels that have the word coast in them. But this one is just Tropical Coast. Let's get in here.
Alas, poor Cubot. I knew him well.
Arr! Me voice chips all cattywampus.
I thought that was gonna go into some like fucking Shakespeare recital there. And that just reminds me of like when we did the Hellfire Comms playthrough of the HD version. This was years and years ago now. There was a part at the end where we just sort of wrapping up our final thoughts on the game, and Richie, being the actual intelligent one in the group, he started quoting Shakespeare just as a just as something to compare it to. I forget exactly which line he brought up, but like yeah, he was describing his thoughts on the story and explained it pretty well, and I followed up with TLDR, it's shit. And I remember someone I saw a post, I think it might have been on STHG, and they were like, oh, these new Hellfire Comms guys, one of them's boring and the other one's really pretentious. He was talking about Shakespeare, and it's like okay, like can you just like, you know, say where's FTA like everyone else does? But yes, we have water levels here, and I don't actually remember much from Tropical Resort, which is probably a good thing, all things considered, because like the levels I remember the most from this, Windy Hill because it's the opening one, obviously, and I really like the music. But the other levels I distinctly remember from this game are the terrible ones. So if this one I'm not remember anything particularly offensive, that's a good sign. I do need to be careful though, because it does have the breath mechanic that you would expect from a Sonic underwater level. The animation for Sonic picking himself up when he gets hit is really slow, and that is genuinely one of my biggest gripes with this game. It's fine in the easier levels, but you get harder levels where you're gonna get twatted constantly, and it becomes a genuinely huge problem over time. Come on, let me just do the thing. Again, I was pressing the A button to do the homing attack, but for some reason the lock-on knows better than me. Drill here, returning from colours as you would expect it to. It works basically the same way you'd expect in 2D at least. You know, like if you've played Aquarium Park, I want to say the colours level, then you basically know what you're doing. I need to get out of there somehow. There are these sections that you need the drill to pass, and so if you just get swept up, then that's a nice little time waster for you, which can be lethal when you're underwater and can't breathe. Come on, bubble, there we go. I've got to say, when it comes to water levels in Sonic, the go-to one that everyone complains about all the time is Labyrinth Zone. But from the last couple of times I've played Sonic 1, I feel like I'm at the point now where Labyrinth Zone doesn't bother me anymore. Like, I have enough of the level memorised that I don't really get to a drowning risk in itself. Like, I don't know, I really like Sonic 1, and it is a game that I go back to probably more than any other 2D platformer, really, except for maybe Mega Man X. So, like, there is that, but still, you know, like, Sonic 1's not as hard as a lot of people think it is. Come on. I want to charge a homing attack on you. There we go. Now I really need a bubble. I'll say that it does feel like it's fairly quick before the mechanic kicks in, like the drowning kicks in, but it's nowhere near as bad as Forces was. That was like the worst it can get. Like, I don't know if it even gives you 5 seconds of leeway before it starts kicking in that game. I'm going to avoid these things now. I know that, like, doing basically... I say I'm going to avoid them and then I come out of the thing into one. Lovely. Still getting a feel for how the momentum works in this game. But... I don't know, tropical resort here... Not tropical resort, tropical coast here. It's kind of the definition of unremarkable. I need a bubble. There's a bubble. Bubble, 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 bubble. No. See, that whole time I was off the ground there, it was kind of out of my control, which is basically my problem with it. That's just a pit, okay. I was kind of expecting something more from that, but no, it's just a pit. At least I've got fresh air here, so I stand a chance. Although I am going in circles, so let's just do me big bounce here. Just about made it. I was worried I'd need a bigger bounce, but I made it work. So, come on, that's the sort of shit that gets really annoying. Because even though that was locked on there, like, it had the full lock-on animation going, it wasn't technically locked on. I pressed A there, and I know, like, I sound like a fucking scrub here, but it is literally a problem with the game that you press buttons and there's nothing you can do. I apologise for being that guy, but sometimes when you're pressing buttons and there's nothing you can do, you're pressing buttons and there's nothing you can do. I think this is the right way. I hope this is the right way, because otherwise I'm well out of my depth. Shit. Sometimes a little recharge can go a long way. Okay, that's just another way I could have come out of. Got it. I'm kind of nervous about that guy being there because he's, again, very unpredictable way for the lock-on to work. So if he's got me cornered in this tight little spot, that could end very poorly. Now there's this particular theme, I think I might have brought it up in the old LP actually, but it sounds the most like a Rhythm Thief song to me. Just the composition and the instrumentation. Which isn't too much of a surprise, since Tomoyo Otani, who did the music for this game, did also do a lot of the music for the Rhythm Thief OST. But I just like that style of music, and I'm glad to hear little bits of it bleeding in. Like, this is another one of those pieces of music that stays with me. Yep, we unlocked the drill power-up, that's good to know. But what can be... It can go one or two ways whether it's good to know, is this next zone here. Because this is a vertical climb the tower kind of level that has its own little quirks. That it's one of them that if it goes well, then it's quite a fun level. If it doesn't go well, then it can be a really annoying level to get back to where you were. But this does carry over the fruit pushing mechanic from the other version of the game. I don't know whether I'd say it's better or worse here, but there's more of it, which is a factor that may influence your take on that. You push this in there and hope that that wasn't just a man in a suit, because if it was, then he's dead. And this is when it becomes a problem, when you get knocked down and you have to save yourself, and there's no rings here. And you have these swarming enemies, so let's try and work my way back up. Thankfully we were only one spot down. See, it's the auto-homing that's annoying here. Like, you can work with it, and to an extent, it was me getting impatient there. I should have known to have done the kick, so I'm trying not to be too scrub about it, but I also don't think it's the most exciting game design when you have to manually stop yourself to do that. So, like, as far as puzzle sections go, this is not bad at all. You know, if I'm going back to my theory of how I think they had to do things deliberately to slow Sonic down, there are bad ways of doing it and there are good ways of doing it, and I think these little kind of puzzles are alright. I want to go this way. Just take my apple for a walk. It's a very big apple. Not quite New York size big apple, but it's up there. Alright, let's do the kicks first. See, I didn't even notice that it locked onto the one behind me there. That's something else that you have to be conscious of. It likes doing that sometimes, as I've learnt the hard way several times now. I think I only just got away with that there. Okay, this is where we get more of these, and we've actually got some more timing based, like fruit pushing sections that we've got to be careful about here. Okay, let's get the one that's at the back. Oh no, that one's got to go on this switch. Okay, that checks out. So if I put that here, because I'll need that to get to that one over that way. So then I can work my way backwards. Put this one in as you would expect, and now I've sort of made the road clear, I feel. Actually, wait, no, there's one more of them things I think I've got to get, so let's do that. This is another section where having better camera control would help. Like, I feel like, because the camera is so much of a problem, I feel like if this got ported onto a system that had like a second analog stick control, I think this would go from what I'd say on the whole is a pretty rough game into a pretty okay average, you know, like maybe a 6 out of 10 kind of game. I feel like so many of this game's problems come down to that one thing, and I think it is also salvageable. When I play games that aren't great, I realise in the past that a lot of them have just been kind of bitch fests. But I feel like this one, like, you can do shit with this, you can make this work, you could port this onto something else. And while I don't really care much for phone stuff, I can at least say that for the recently released Sonic Dream Team game, that's kind of gave me the idea that, again, maybe it could be worked with. Let's just take this one here. I feel like I'm faffing around with that for... Oh. Alright, gotta do this shit again. Let's do the ones that I'd already done, and then I'll cut back to where I was. Alright, so let's have another try with this one here without jumping off the edge this time. Let's try and work my way back around. So, if I actually pay attention to where I'm going this time, that might help out considerably. There we go. And what I didn't think to do that should have been really obvious is the one that I used to get this red ring. I could have just pushed off the side there, but given I didn't think to do that, I am going to have to go up here, which isn't really that big of a deal, but it does mean that I've got to walk this very tight platform and then get through those 3 spike balls again without anything too drastic happening. Is it there? Oh, this wants to roll off the edge, doesn't it? And it wants to take me with it. There we go. But yeah, like I was saying, I saw gameplay of the Sonic Dream Team game on mobile, and it's possible to play that using a controller. Like, you can sync up a Bluetooth controller with like your phone or your Apple TV or whatever you want. And they managed to make that portable-ish Sonic 3D Sonic game work with that setup. So I feel like if they were to do something like that with this game, it would be like just an infinitely better experience, and I feel like it could be an actual fun game to play with that in mind. Oh, no. It's getting a bit overzealous there. Kind of don't want to do that. Yeah, chaining the kick and the homing attack is something that you want to get used to sooner rather than later, because there's going to be a lot of this. There we go. Not too bad of a level, all things considered. I quite like that one.
I can live with that.
I tested the blue one, and he's more powerful than I anticipated. He shows much potential.
Who cares about him? Now that I'm free, I want to squeeze Eggman till he pops!
That's a fetish.
And eat him, I suppose.
That's also a fetish.
Yeah,
There are better ways to make him suffer.
but more delicious?
What would you say if I told you we could destroy Eggman's world and use its energy to make ourselves unbelievably powerful?
Well, I would say that I had taught you well.
He still doesn't have much of a character, but I still feel like the elder guy has a little bit of charm at least, if only because I like that particular character archetype.
Man's own creation that causes his destruction.
Evil laugh.wav. On to Zone 3, I'm seeing underwater in the screenshot there. So let's hope for the best. Oh, it's this level. In this zone, you can invert your vertical movement while using the yellow form by pressing L. The controls will invert every time you press L. I feel like I'm probably gonna not touch that, just for my own well-being. But it is very floaty control in 3D. And yeah, like, I feel like the problem kind of demonstrates itself for that. I need to keep picking up things, because if it runs out at an inconvenient time, that could cause me a problem, but also actually trying to pick them up is much easier said than done. That was a uncomfortably easy red ring. Okay, I'm glad they put that 50 ring box there, because no, I want to get that. Fuck it, close enough. I made it clear what I wanted, and it just didn't want to play ball. I'm in such a overly careful mindset now, because if you're not in that mindset, then you're probably gonna either drown or just have something else unpleasant happen. I think if you have the thing, you can just go straight past this, but oh, it's just to get one of them anyway, so I didn't actually have to fight that guy. I was just making things awkward for myself for no good reason. Pretty sure all those teleporters there are just to get to the start of that section if you run out of thing, which makes sense. Now I need to be very careful, because that is pit down there. And if I run out of the wisp, then I am going into that pit. Alright, I need to be careful again. And of course it sends me fucking backwards. Can you please not mislead me when you're giving me this loose awkward control as it is? And now we go straight up, and the backdrop for this section looks really pretty. It sort of has that like early 2000s cool sort of online web aesthetic thing going on. Like, it was probably in the background of, like, if you were on some tech website, they'd have that thing like as the background of their banner ad or something. I miss that era. This just reminds me of that one of a few Galaxy missions where you're just riding on the orb that has the star in it. Okay, so if I have this, I can just homing attack along here. I didn't think of doing that last time, but that's cool. Come on, let me fight the guy. Please. There we go. Invincibility is fun sometimes. Now I need to be very careful not to lock onto the wrong thing. Well, never mind, I seem to have a temporary immunity to it, whatever that was. I know water levels are one of the tropes that are quite commonly... Water and desert levels are the ones that a lot of people will see as the infamous ones, the ones that you see a water level and you think, oh god. And with Sonic games that checks out for like the mechanics they usually bring in, like we see here, like with the drowning and all that. But I will say, personally, I'm still quite fond of just the... I'm quite fond of the levels themselves, if only for the general look, because this, although it's a much more abstract take on a water level, like there's a lot more like random shit floating than you might expect from usual 3D Sonic games. It really does look pretty. Like, this looks beautiful right now, especially for a 3DS game. And so I can't really complain too much. Like, desert levels just look boring, and Desert Ruins in this game in particular looks really boring. But this, you know, I'm willing to put up with a lot more bullshit if there's something nice to look at along the way. I'm gonna fall down because I don't have enough of that, aren't I? Oh no, it gave me one right way. That's okay, that's cool. I can live with this. Oh. As long as I can turn it around and make it work, I have no complaints. Get my little top up here. Maybe get a life while I'm at it. I have 40 lives, but that's not enough for this game. I don't want to really give the game away too much, but especially further on. Oh, come on, it was right there. Thankfully it does put you back here if you die, so you're not too far back. You're back in this little water vortex thing, and you can sort of save yourself. It's not that much of a problem. But yeah, I do need to be careful because it is very easy to miss those capsules here. I've noticed that even though I've died a couple of times off screen here, I've managed to get an increase in lives. So if you do want to farm lives, which there's actually good reason to do, this game does get quite hard later on. That's an area you can do it if you so desire. I don't really have the patience to do that though. No, I don't want to do a special stage. Never again. The trauma's gonna live with me.
Something bad's happening.
It really narrows it down, Amy, thank you.
I don't know. It's like is draining the life out of the world. Plants, animals, even the air feels cold and dead.
Okay, you guys stay safe down there. I'll try to figure out what's going on and stop it.
That tablet was really clunky even by 2013 standards. I know they've got a lot smaller since then, but it was kind of playing on the gamepad, which was really, really clunky, to be fair, but still. And now I've remembered what's next. This is a boss that I don't particularly like.
Your time is almost over, rash hedgehog. I shall prepare for you a lesson in respect. A painful lesson.
Oh, someone's gonna get taken to school, all right.
Follow, if you dare.
Alright, here we go.
Your lesson begins.
This boss is a bit shit. Just getting that out of the way here. It's one of them ones that wasn't immediately obvious what to do, but also the control is kind of weird. Let's see, does this help? Master Zig is protected by a fruit, so you can't attack him directly. I kind of figured that out. To create an opportunity, dodge and attack the back of the fruit he throws. Okay, sounds simple enough, but to like get the problems out of the way to start with, he only leaves a little window of opportunity to get a hit in there. Like, if you remember, I managed to get time to charge up me attacks for the other bosses. I haven't here. The control is very unusual. Like, you do use the full circle of the circle pad there. It's kind of hard to explain, but it is really, really fiddly to work with. There, you can get some cheeky extra hits in, but like basically what I'm getting at is that you have to do a circle movement here to run around this platform here. You can't just hold right and have Sonic continue running facing to the right. Okay, this one, just got to do that. Yes, I got this hint last time. Now, where is he? I didn't even see that there. Oh, I got lucky. That doesn't always happen. That's the quick way to beat him. You have to attack him with the drill, but it is easier said than done, and that could have gone absolutely terribly. There we go.
Yeah, aced it.
Got an S rank for that, even though I got twatted a couple of times. Well, I got twatted once, and I wasted a bit of time.
We have a mutual problem. One so large that it will take both of us to overcome it.
Whatever. I told you, we can handle the Zeddy by ourselves.
That may be true, but the rebellious swine have gotten hold of a device of mine, and they're using it in ways for which it was never designed.
What was it designed for, Doctor?
I don't want to explain that, if that's okay.
It was supposed to extract energy from our world, but the machine is unstable. Once it reaches full power, it can't be shut off. It will drain our world dry.
Oh, so that's what Amy was talking about.
And you just
So
wanna
then
go
we have to
smash
drop the
stones.
giant pizza on top of the town, and all the problems will be solved.
Oh, always your answer to everything, Hedgehog. If you wish to create a cataclysmic explosion that will incinerate everything within 100 miles, please smash away.
So there's no
There's
off switch?
a lot of tension building here, and that was one of the more divisive parts of this game's story. It's a bit awkward, I'll say that much. I'm not a fan of like the actual story writing along the way here. It feels very inconsistent with itself.
Thanks.
Man up, Tails. I don't like working with my most hated enemies any more than you do.
Even though we do it like every fucking week, it
Yeah,
seems.
well, teaming up with you feels like the end of the world, Eggman. I don't want to take a long shower by the
Can
time
you
we're
stop
done.
talking about how much you smell, please?